A silent shadow with charred chains around its neck raced past, leaving destruction and fear in its wake. But what if behind this chaos lies a story not of anger, but of desperation? It began with a sharp, almost inhuman scream from the shelter's backyard, a scream that made two volunteers dash forward. One of them, Jake, saw a shadow sprint past the chain-link fence, a dog with black and tan patches, ears pinned back, eyes wide open, and foam at the mouth. Another kennel was destroyed and a cage bent from force. At the center of the chaos stood Bruno, the very dog no one could approach. Animal control had brought Bruno in 2 weeks earlier. He was found wandering alone on the edge of a burned forest, soot still clinging to his fur, with a charred chain around his neck. Rumors said he growled at anyone who tried to get close, bit a trainer on the first day, and broke through the gate the next. Since then, all shelter staff, including head coordinator Amy Harper, were warned, "Don't enter Bruno's cage. He's unpredictable and dangerous." But that morning, Bruno's gaze was neither wild nor angry. It was broken. Amy, a new volunteer, stood motionless behind the fence, clutching her tablet tightly. Around her, staff bustled, trying to tranquilize Bruno. The dart struck his side. He staggered, gasping, before collapsing into a corner. His body trembled long after his eyes closed. It was the 4th time in 10 days they'd had to use sedatives. "He won't socialize. We're exhausted," the staff said bitterly. "We've tried everything, but no progress." Meanwhile, Amy couldn't take her eyes off Bruno. He kept looking around as if searching for someone or something. That night, after the shelter emptied, she returned and sat cross-legged on the cold floor by his cage, silent. The sedative began to wear off, and from the shadows, Bruno watched her, ears alert, low growl rising in his throat. But Amy simply opened a can of dog food, placed it by the bars, nudging it closer so he could reach it. Then she whispered softly, "I don't think you're angry. I think you're just afraid." The next morning, the food can was licked clean, but nothing had changed yet. Every time someone tried to touch Bruno, he growled, tore blankets, refused to eat. But with Amy, it was different. She didn't reach out, only sat quietly, reading books and humming softly. One day, Bruno bravely came close enough to sniff her shoes. Then one morning, everything changed. Amy brought her 7-year-old daughter, Maddie, curly-haired, fragile, but with a brave heart. She wanted to help Bruno. "No, honey, it might be dangerous," Amy whispered. But before any protest, Maddie approached the cage, crouched down and whispered, "Hi, I had a dog like you once. He was hurt too, but he got better." Everyone held their breath as Bruno slowly lowered his head and stared at the girl intently. She pulled out a crumpled drawing, a child's sketch of a dog with a heart overhead, and slid it through the bars. "This is for you, Bruno." His nose twitched slightly. Then he lay down beside the cage, calm for the first time in ages. That drawing became something sacred. Even the cleaner never touched it. Every morning, Bruno lay near the paper, as if guarding proof that he wasn't alone. No one understood what was happening, neither trainers nor vets. But everyone saw the changes, some seeming impossible. In 5 minutes, Maddie achieved what professionals could not. She earned Bruno's trust. He didn't growl or snarl at her. He listened to her quiet stories and songs, his ears perking like a puppy's. A week later, Maddie returned, this time with a soft, worn pink stuffed dog, her favorite toy. "He'll tear it apart," Amy warned gently. Maddie smiled. "That's okay. It'll help him." Amy opened the cage door slightly and tossed the toy inside. All watched as Bruno approached, sniffed it, then gently took it in his mouth and carried it to a corner without tearing it. He lay beside it, eyes no longer fierce, but full of trust, and only with the girl. Later, under careful supervision, Maddie began entering the cage, gently brushing Bruno's fur. He enjoyed it, as if forgetting what kindness felt like. One day, Amy tried approaching again, hoping to earn his trust, but Bruno growled and backed away. Now everyone understood. Bruno had made his choice. His heart belonged to Maddie. Soon the shelter director received a call from a man, Mr. Hunter, an elderly owner listed in Bruno's microchip. He lived in another town and claimed Bruno was stolen a year ago during a burglary. He searched for months, went to police, posted flyers, but lost hope. Fire, chain, injuries. It all made sense. Bruno had been a loyal friend whose world had fallen apart. The director invited Mr. Hunter to meet the dog at the shelter. On the appointed day, the man arrived with a cane and a faded photo of young Bruno on his porch. His voice trembled as he spoke of nights the dog stayed beside him and how he never barked without reason. But when Bruno saw him, something changed. His ears rose, not in fear, but alertness. He slowly stood, still holding the plush toy, and stared through the wire fence. The man's hand shook, holding the photo as he knelt down slowly. "Do you remember me, boy?" he whispered. "You used to sleep right here next to me every night." Bruno took a step forward, then another, quiet, no growls or barks, trying to piece together the fog of memory. Finally, he lowered his head, dropped the toy, and sat near the gate, eyes uncertain on the man. Mr. Hunter placed an old collar engraved with Bruno on the ground. "You can go home if you want, but only if you're ready." Silence filled the shelter. But Bruno stood, turned away from the collar, took Maddie's drawing and gently placed it next to the toy. He curled up and sighed deeply. Mr. Hunter nodded sadly. "Looks like you've already found your new home." The shelter was stunned. No one expected such a complex choice. Amy approached the old man, placing a hand on his shoulder. "He loves you, sir, but this little girl healed him. She did what no one else could." Mr. Hunter smiled through tears. Outside, Maddie waited by the open cage door. Bruno rose, tail low but calm. He didn't look at the man who once was his owner, but walked straight to Maddie, quietly resting his head on her hand. In that silence lay the whole story, not just of a lost dog or owner, but of healing, trust, and the power of a true bond beyond leash or collar. Rumors of Bruno and Maddie spread beyond the shelter. People came with flowers, gifts. Children held their breath by the cages. Maddie came every day after school, and Bruno greeted her like seeing her for the first time. Amy watched them with quiet admiration. Their connection was special, needing no words. They were inseparable. But one day, Maddie didn't come. Bruno nervously paced the cage, howled, scratched the window. The shelter received a call. Maddie hadn't returned from the library. It was night, and police were involved. But Bruno sensed what no one else did. He broke free, and Amy, breaking rules, clipped on a leash and went with him to search. After several blocks near an old bookstore, Bruno stopped, barked loudly, and scratched the gate. Behind it lay Maddie, frightened but alive. He lay beside her and gently laid his head on her shoulder, as if saying, "I found you." This is a story about the power of trust and loyalty. How sometimes a small gesture, a child's drawing, a soft toy, can melt the coldest heart, and how true love never dies. It lives in the heart of everyone who's ever been saved. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. See you soon.